Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever in the world you are. And welcome to my little show, A Cuppa with Spirit. And the main theme that's been running through my heart and mind over the last day or so is the topic of love. And for those that don't know, my colleague and friend Martin Colclough and I, we run an online church, a divine service every Monday evening, 7 p.m. UK time. Shameless little plug there, but anyway. And we write, one chairs and the other writes the reading. And yesterday it was my turn to write the reading. And also yesterday morning I had this overwhelming urge to write a Facebook post about love. And I'd just like to read it to you and share it with you, because this is what today's show is about. And it goes, I tell every single person that I connect with that I love them. I've had people say, but you don't know me. And others have been rather taken aback at hearing those words. What I've also found is once past the surprise and hesitancy, they, more often than not, start to respond with, I love you too. If people can hate and spread hate for no reason, then I can love and spread love for no reason. I'm just going to let that sit with you for a moment, just to contemplate, especially that last sentence. If people can hate and spread hate for no reason, then I can love and spread love for no reason. And when I got the urge, the inspiration, for want of another word, to write this, I knew it was because this is what my soul and my spirit wish to share with others right now. I've been called daft, ridiculous, goofy, silly, and numerous other things that are highly inappropriate for sharing on air. When I've said this to people, and in my experience, that's mainly because how they feel about themselves. Maybe they grew up in a household with no love. Maybe they didn't experience love growing up, as possibly many of you listening and watching right now have experienced yourselves. I'm sure that there are a lot of you as well that grew up in a loving household where love was freely expressed and shown and told. You were told, I love you. I used my mum. I grew up in a household where I knew I was loved, but my mum showed love for me in things that she did. So putting food on the table, buying me clothes and things like this. But my mum, she couldn't tell me that she loved me, and I certainly never received any hugs. And many times my mum could be quite, how can I put it, brutal with her words and also physically as well. But I now see as an adult, knowing her past and the experiences that she had as a child, I now know that she couldn't express that as an adult because she never learned how to. And I got to a point where I knew that it wasn't my responsibility to what happened to me as a child, but it sure as hell was my responsibility to heal that childhood trauma as an adult. And I believe that when I know for myself, when I came to that realization, it was through the developing the love, understanding, and compassion for myself, for my actions that were born out of what I didn't know, how I didn't know how to be, but I've learned how to be. And another thing I've learned, please excuse me for my not being able to get my words out there, but all external relationships reflected the relationship that I held within myself. And this included my relationship with spirit. So when I started working upon myself, when I started delving down into my soul and my spirit and unearthing the gems and working with those icky parts of us that sometimes called shadow work, that was when my relationship with spirit got even closer, because I knew that the deeper I went, the closer to love I became. the closer to love I journeyed. Because once I cut through the self-hate and the self-loathing and all of those other destructive things that we can take on board energetically as children and at the hands and the response of others, once I cut through all of that, and it was a conscious decision and it was a painful and difficult decision at times, I got moved close to spirit. And I just want to also express to you that there are different ways of showing love. There's verbal and non-verbal ways, which another thing that I learned through this, through reading varying books and publications, etc., is doing things for people. That's a way of saying I love you. Call me when you get there. That's a way of saying I love you and I care. Hugging. The wonderful thing about hugging is that when you give a hug, you get one in return. So it's an incredibly reciprocal activity, obviously done healthily and respectfully, of course. Making sure food is on the table, that those basic needs are tended to. Buying gifts, maybe. That is a way that somebody says, I love you. I saw this and I thought of you. Sending healthy emails and texts. Now I say healthy because if a situation or an interaction with somebody makes you feel uncomfortable, then you do have the right to express yourself and take action and remove yourself from the energy. So I felt that I did need to add that. And also, I'm going to the shops. Is there anything you need? Or I'm at the shops. Is there anything you want? That's another way of saying I love you. And our love for self is indicative of our experiences. It is the sum of our experiences. And many find it difficult to move past that. And so the relationship with animals, for instance, is created deeply for the reason that they know that they're always going to be loved unconditionally and never be let down, etc. And that really, a relationship with anybody or any animal is absolutely perfectly beautiful. And this is the reading that I wrote last night for our church service. And it is entitled, I Love You. 3 small words that when put together into a sentence are infinite. When said with sincerity, these 3 words can ignite the heart and touch the soul of their recipient. Many times, I love you is said without meaning. Worse still, with the intention of manipulation, hurting all in the process. Never feign affection of any kind. Love doesn't hurt. People's actions towards another in love's name hurts. When used with absolute meaning, I love you has the power to nurture, change lives, mend hearts and souls, heal past hurts, restore faith in relationships, and be the catalyst for transformational self-expression. Love is the only thing that exists when all else expires. Love is the conduit through which communication between the physical world and spirit world flows. Love is eternal. Love is cyclical. Balanced love gives and receives. Love is all there is. So I love you. Now I understand that for many of you, that may be a difficult thing to hear. And it may certainly be a difficult thing to tell yourself. But do the best you can, even if it's buying yourself a magazine or taking yourself for a walk and getting some exercise. Or in any other way that nurtures that side of you. If comfortable, look in the mirror. Look yourself in the eyes and saying, I love you. You've done good today. in whatever way that is. Because Spirit love you. And Spirit see you as perfect, whole, divine beings, which I urge you to see yourself. We are all human, but we are spirit having human experience. Human experience, there is the propensity of ego. And when we can train our ego mind to accept ourselves for exactly who we are, I would suggest that that is the moment the chink in the armour is created and that love within your soul is allowed to shine through. So I'll leave this with you, with Spirit's love, with my love, and have the best week ever, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you all. Much love.